You're live.
Hi, how are you?
I don't care. I want him to hear. This is the Pregame Show, your early morning shot of sports on 95.7 The Game.
It's always fun game.
Let's just be drop happy today. Why not? It's a Friday. Not a payday Friday, but it's a Phil Collins Friday. Isn't it Friedman's Appliance Friday? I think Evan Giddings and Mark Grandy are going to be hanging out there over the weekend for their red tag sale.
I think it's tomorrow from 12 to 3.
There you go. Is that a special edition of Warriors Live, Sam? Or Warriors this week?
Sure.
Excuse
I think
me.
Just doing a normal show.
Oh,
There
cool.
might be a lot of Warriors, I'm sure.
Awesome. I can't wait for that.
And
Evan
they are
Giddings.
the hosts of Warriors pre and post game, so
They are.
I would
And
imagine.
they will be doing it again tonight. One of them, I believe, Evan Giddings and or Mark Grandy, Warriors Live tonight as the Golden State Warriors take on the Indiana Pacers. Coverage of that, again, starts at 6 o'clock right here on 95.7 The Game, your home for Golden State Warriors basketball. As the Warriors look to make it 2 in a row on this last leg of their homestand before heading out to Minnesota, take on the Timberwolves, who are vying for that number 1 seed in the Western Conference playoffs.
Minnesota!
Thanks, Joe. All right. Let's talk about it. Get it out of the way, people. How's your brackets doing? Are they all busted? It's not like, I will say this, and people are all like, oh, no one wants to hear about your brackets, Spadoni. No one cares about that. I was like, and that's true. I'm not here to talk about my bracket, although I was looking pretty good up until that Nevada game. And then everything just fell off the rails. Whether they up like 17 points or something with like 7 minutes to go. God, joke artists. They're just kids. You can't be too hard on them, please. All right? They're men now. Turn 18, you're a man. Dem to rules. I didn't make them. Society did. Make your free throws. And don't blow 17 leads with 7 minutes to go. 17-point leads. Come on. And Samford almost just destroyed my entire bracket. I got Kansas moving all the way to the finals, but you don't want to hear about that. I want to hear about what you're doing this weekend, what's going on. I want to hear your thoughts on something we touched upon a bunch yesterday, but there were so many layers. I don't really think we got into, how it pertains to the Dodgers potentially this season. We talked about it a little bit as I filled in yesterday for Bonte Hill on the Morning Roast alongside Joe Shasky. And obviously, I'm referring to Shohei Ohtani, the Los Angeles Dodgers, firing his interpreter, Ippei Mizuhara. And apparently they already hired a new interpreter, Sam. That's what I read yesterday on TMZ. Shohei's already got his new interpreter. And it's a cold world. Mizuhara and Shohei seemingly were boys. And it's hard for me not to still believe that Shohei knew about all this. And I know it's coming from his reps that there's the massive theft and blindsided, all this sort of stuff. And I was like, reading between the lines from that Tisha Thompson article on ESPN, I still am just flabbergasted at the entire thing. And if you have your head in the sand in regards to all this, that's not a solid defense. Ignorance is not going to be a defense. Now, is baseball going to launch an investigation? Is there going to be charges? We'll wait and see with that. We had Chris Rose on yesterday, and he seemed to think that nothing was going to happen. In fact, let Chris tell you about it at 888-957-9570. You can hit me up, call or text the Comcast Biz text line. We're also streaming on Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Go ahead and search 95.7 The Game, like and subscribe there. We're streaming all day long, Monday through Friday, through the weekend too, because you heard Sam, we've got Evan Giddings and Mark Grandy tomorrow live from Friedman's Appliance for the red tag sale, 12 to 3. And we also got a special edition of Garlic Fries and Baseball Guys, 12 to 3, a live version right here on 95.7 The Game. So you can find that also on Twitch and YouTube. Again, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. It's an action-packed full week. And we are working for the weekend, and we are working on the weekend here on 95.7 The Game. Chris Rose, though, talking about the MLB needing to speak out on the Shohei Ohtani situation. Take a listen.
Here's what I would say, guys, is that I think the people that are saying, well, Ippei is a fall guy for Shohei Ohtani, it's way too early to say anything like that, and it's also not nothing. So here's what has to happen, in my opinion, and I'm sure it won't. Major League Baseball has to have a press conference. And it won't happen because Rob Manfred is not comfortable speaking in front of the media. It's just not, he doesn't like it. He doesn't like to, they really did him a disservice when they gave him the job. They should have given him PR classes. No joke. Like, he needs to be in front of a camera today. And I don't care if it's from Seoul, South Korea. I don't care if it's from I don't care. He has to get in front of it because it is we're talking about the face of the sport and a global sporting icon whose name has now been attached to a federal investigation over illegal bookmaking.
Yeah, but, baseball, am I right? Rob Manfred doesn't care. He's a cash cow. Come on. This is what you expect. Chris Rose, and I love Chris Rose, John Boy Media, formerly of MLB Network, still on NFL Network, does a great job covering both leagues. BattleBots, come on, man. Love me some BattleBots. Kept telling him that yesterday. I used to watch that all the time as a kid. But Rob Manfred can't speak about this because, to Chris's point, he's not good at speaking at all. I mean, we in the Bay Area know that more than anyone. Guy's been talking about this A's situation and just spitting on every single Oakland A's fan whenever he opens his mouth. It's a joke. I know we like to crush Roger Goodell because of all the stuff that's happened, and I get it. It's been a roller coaster ride, to put it lightly, when it comes to Roger Goodell's tenure as commissioner. But you know what? If he stepped down today, I think he's looked at pretty favorably. Not by every fan base, particularly one in New England. Not by everyone. I understand that. And same will be said for Manfred and the lack of action when it came to the Astros scandal, when it came to his handling of the Oakland A's and their move to Las Vegas. And listen, Shasky's one of those guys where he's looking at Manfred pretty favorably in the sense that, he's changed the game in such a way where he's brought more viewers because he's speeding it up. And that's fine. That's fair. But I am biased. The A's are my team, and they're being ripped away from me. And as Chris said yesterday, the guy speaking on it doesn't seem to care at all. There is no sense of compassion. There's no sense of loyalty. And I'm not asking for loyalty. This is a business after all, and he's trying to make a buck. Everyone's trying to make a buck. He's a mouthpiece for the owners, and John Fisher is an owner, and he's going to have his back ultimately. I understand that. But at the same time, when he goes to speak about certain things, he can't help but put his foot in his mouth. It's pretty unbelievable. Like when I go to the big three commissioners and their abilities to speak on certain matters, Roger Goodell, Adam Silver, Rob Manfred, it's not even close who's a tier beneath the other two. It's Goodell, it's Silver, and then way on the bottom is Rob Manfred and Gary Bettman, NHL. I've never heard the guy talk. I'm not going to pretend I've heard the guy talk. I've heard things that he's horrible. Now I've heard recently that he's doing better. I have no opinion one way or another on Gary Bettman. I do not. How the Sharks doing, Sammy? They all right? NHL? Rick Celebrini's kid? We in the running?
They're still in the running.
Okay, that's all we need.
Not much good after that.
That's fine. Hey, just don't win the games. It's all right. It's okay. And you're seeing that with the NFL draft coming up here in about a month. Some of those teams that won games late in the year that didn't make the playoffs, they're kind of probably looking back like, oh, if I was just in that top 3 or 4. Now, those are really bad teams. Patriots, Washington, and the Panthers. Obviously, the Bears have the Panthers pick by way of the trade last year for Bryce Young. But you're starting to feel that a little bit, just a little bit. But back to the main point I wanted to make. Rob Manfred and his involvement in all this, I cannot think of a guy more ill-equipped to speak about a gambling problem in his league with the face of his player than Bobby Manfred. And to Chris Rose's point, he's not going to talk about it. He's not, because it's not his skill set. He's going to hide. He's going to stick his head in the sand. And he's going to be like, nothing to see here. And that could be the end of it right there. We could never talk about this again. And it's something we look back on. Oh, yeah, remember what happened with that gambling thing with Shohei? Oh, yeah, it could fade away. But I am interested to see if anything happens with him, the interpreter, going forward. And I'm sure that news will come out slowly but surely. 888-957-9570, the number. Again, Warriors taking on the Indiana Pacers tonight, 7 o'clock at Chase Center. And I came in this morning, I was like, what do I want to talk about? You know, what's hitting me? We had March Madness yesterday. And listen, there's upsets. You know, Kentucky going down. Hurts me to say that. It's time for Calipari to go from Kentucky. It's just, as a Paisan, an Italian-American, to see Pitino and Calipari these last 5+ years just struggle mightily. As Guru likes to say, I'm going to shed a thug tear. I'm going to shed an Italian tear right there. Right there. It's going down the cheek. It's tough. Still got great hair, Calipari. Elite lettuce, as coaches go.
He's an Italian.
But come on, man. And we're not talking about Oakland, California. Where is this Oakland? Like Illinois or something? Wisconsin? I think it might be in Wisconsin. But yeah, I always see Oakland, and it's hard for me not to just go, there's not Oakland University.
I saw Oakland versus UK in the scoreboard. It's just like, oh, nice. The town's taking on the Brits. Cool.
There we go. Hey. It's funny you say that.
Shout out to Ian Crumpets.
Well, I'm taking all the ballers from Oakland right now, and you can collect whoever you want from the UK. And I'll take any player, high school, collegiate, what have you, from Oakland, California, over anyone from the UK. I'll tell you that right now. Now, maybe some of those Caribbean countries that are still under the UK umbrella, maybe. But I'm taking Oakland. Someone had the tweet of the night last night, by the way. It was disappearing acts from the UK, and it was Kate Middleton and John Calipari. And I was like, that's the tweet of the year. Come on. Come on.
Number 4.
Thank you. I love a Robin laugh. But I was coming in this morning, I was talking to Sam, I was like, what are we hot on today? And Bonte's going to come in with Shasky here about 40 plus minutes. They'll be talking about a Warriors game tonight. And I was like, are the Warriors hitting right now? And that's when it came to me. I was like, the Warriors they're not interesting right now. They had a win against the Grizzlies, and that's great. I'm more interested in talking about the San Francisco Giants than I am the Golden State Warriors. And I get it. Spadoni, this is the Warriors flagship. They're in the midst of a play-in battle, and that's just it. They're in the midst of a play-in battle. The Rockets won again last night, by the way. They won again. That's 7 in a row for Houston. They're on the Lakers and the Warriors' heels right now. 2.5 back still. 34-35. They're about to be a 500 team. Now, do we all expect them to keep this up? I don't know. They're 9-1 in their last 10. Although that home and away record is glaring. But I say that while also acknowledging that the Lakers are also a play-in team with a 12-20 away record, which is putrid. For teams to have LeBron James and Anthony Davis, Stephen Curry, Draymond, Klay Thompson, and they might not even sniff the playoffs. I mean, it feels like a changing of the guard officially, though, right? Is this what we're seeing right now? A changing of the guard in the NBA? It used to be Steph and LeBron's league. And LeBron was still in the Western Conference Finals last year, and the year prior to that, Steph was in the finals. But there's a real possibility one of those teams, hell, both of those teams, if the Rockets knock off one of them and then knock off the other again in that play-in seed, there's a chance both of them don't even make the playoffs. So I guess that's my question now that I've just stumbled into it at 5:15 a.m. on March 22nd, the year of our Lord 2024. And shout out Palm Sunday this Sunday. It is Lent. I'm a good Catholic today. I'm supposed to not eat meat, but God, I can go for a good steak and eggs this morning. I'm not going to lie. But my question to you is this officially a changing of the guard in the NBA? Is this the end, the official end of the LeBron James and Stephen Curry era? 888-957-9570. Maybe some people want to wait until the season's over, but I feel like we're watching it. Just look at the top of the Western Conference. Young, athletic, big. You got OKC up there, the top seed right now, which is crazy. They're 48-20. They've won 3 in a row. They're 7-3 in their last 10. Chet Holmgren, baller, rookie of the year candidate. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, baller, MVP candidate. You still got both Williams. You got Josh Giddey. You got studs left and right on that team. The Torture Chamber, Lou Dort. Then in the second seed, it's just the defending champs. They're one back in the loss column. But they're right on the heels of the Thunder. Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, Mike Malone. I see him on my TV all the time. What's he spouting off post game? He's got so much confidence in those guys. Then you got Minnesota right there. No Karl Anthony Towns, no problem. Although they're struggling a little bit as of late, 5-5 in their last 10, but they're still a game and a half back. They can still win that number 1 seed. Then you got the Clippers. Pelicans, though, another young, big team. Well, one of their guys is big. Shout out Zion Williamson, who I'm not going to crush today. I'm not going to poke fun at. No, he's been a baller. And I would love to see that team make some noise in the playoffs. They were my dark horse. I said it this week. If I have to pick a dark horse in both of these conferences right now, I'm picking the Pelicans and I'm picking the Knicks to make a run. What do I mean by that? Maybe these teams can get to their conference finals. Let's go out to Chris in San Francisco, 888-957-9570. I think he wants to talk some orange and black. What's going on, Chris?
How we doing today, this morning, gentlemen?
Oh, I'm doing stupendous. How you doing, brother? It's a Friday.
Yeah, no, I'm just driving over work. And I figured I'd call in, and first-time caller, long-time listener. I always hear about the Giants can't sign big-name free agents. I mean, they have signed a couple this offseason, but at the same time, they, they're technically, in a way, they're one-year deals. They can opt out after the first year. But I have a long-time friend of mine who played in the bigs and has told me numerous times that it's because of the city as a whole that they can't, attract big-name players or player to the city because of the fact, like, the city as itself.
Well, then thanks, Chris. I appreciate the call. I don't buy that. That was a Farhan Zaidi concoction, and I'm not buying that narrative. Not when we have some of the best players in other sports in our market still. Like, is that stopping the 49ers from going out and getting guys and trading for a Christian McCaffrey? And I get it. You can say, oh, they traded. They didn't get it here. So what? Guys want to come and play where the team is good. That's ultimately what it is. Have the Giants been good the last 2 seasons? No. I don't want to play there. Because you know who else is in that division? The Dodgers. The Diamondbacks, who just represented the National League in the World Series. The Padres. Maybe I feel like I can go to those places and contend. So that's mainly the reason, Chris. I'm not blaming the city or anything like that. And Bonte likes to have the bit, and I kind of jump off of it too. It's like Gotham City. We got the Penguin and the Riddler and the Joker out here in San Francisco. Oh, it's so scary all the time. Brother, I come in to the city and drive around on my scooter at 4 a.m. daily. Do I fear for my life? Other than some potholes occasionally? No, I do not. And are the players walking around at 4 a.m. when it's quote unquote most dangerous? No, they are not. Well, I would hope not. Should probably be going to sleep. Who was it that coined it? Was it Tony Dungy? Herm Edwards? Nothing good happens after 12? Something like that? Well, that's the same for any city. That's Las Vegas. That's New York. Hell, that's Jacksonville. I mean, Sam's been out in Florida. I'm sure you can find some partying out in Jacksonville, Florida, if you wanted to. I don't know if it's going to be great. But these guys are also millionaires. They can fly to Miami real quick if they wanted to. So I'm not buying that notion. And they are one-year deals, basically, what you're talking about, because there's player options, Blake Snell, Matt Chapman. Those are the two biggest ones as of late. Biggest names, I should say, anyways. So if they ball out, they opt out. But that's great for the Giants. Like, they need to bring these guys in. I don't care that they're 1 year. Like, they weren't getting any year deals for these guys prior. Get them in the building, have a successful season, and you know what? Talk to them, and maybe they'll re-sign. Maybe the culture's changed, and they're a part of it, and maybe they go on a deep run in the playoffs, and they want to stay here. Wow, crazy how that works out. All of a sudden, San Francisco's not the problem. Shocker. It's all about winning. It always has been and always will be. Winning attracts. Like, I'd be willing to wager it, and also part of it is ownership. I understand that. But, like, look at the Houston Astros as an example. The Houston Astros, prior to that Sports Illustrated article, right? Was that 2015, whatever it was? 14, I don't even remember. It might have been in high school. When they predicted the World Series with George Springer on the front. And they started losing, and they got, Springer, they had Correa, Altuve already, and all these other guys, right? They brought in Gurriel, brought in Verlander, and then they just couldn't stop signing free agents. Everyone wanted to come there because they started winning all the time. They won that World Series against the Dodgers, and they kept winning, making deep run after deep run after deep run. They bring in Dusty Baker after the cheating scandal to save some face. But even that, people were looking to sign there. Jose Abreu last year, who didn't do diddly poo, still a big enough name where it's like, okay, I'll come there on a cheaper deal because I want to win a World Series. Houston, prior to that, I know they went to a World Series. They were a laughingstock. No one was going to Houston. They weren't a destination. People were going to Texas Rangers instead. That's where they were going to. So it's always been about winning. Always has been and always will be. And if the Giants continue to win this year and make a deep run, guess what? More free agents. Bring more in. People want to come here on the cheap. But just because a guy like a JD Martinez, who just signed with the Mets, by the way, says he never wanted to come here or anything like that, reports, and well, okay, great. That's one guy. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of others that would love to come to a winning team if the Giants do that, which I think they're going to be good this year. I do. I think 90 wins. I think that's realistic for Giants and for Giants fans to expect. Speaking of the Giants, Chris Rose, again, who joined myself and Joe Shasky yesterday in the morning roast, talking about the Giants signing one Blake Snell. This was interesting.
I find him fascinating. I do think part of the reason that he was available for this small a contract, and I'm using a little bunny rabbit quote here, is on $62 million, was because his 4 years in between his two Cy Young seasons were all over the place. I don't think he pitched more than 130 innings at any of those 4 years. There were times where the sixth inning was a rumor to him, and so I think it was hard to see. But when you're talking about just basic stuff out of a starter, there are five guys that are better than him in terms of just quality stuff when he's out there on the mound. And I think that he's going to really benefit being around Logan Webb. A guy who has to pitch his ass off every 5 days to give you what he's got, because he doesn't throw 97. So I think that's going to be a great 1-2 punch.
I think it's going to be a great 1-2 punch as well. In fact, Shasky and I yesterday went down the list, and Shasky was just asking me, he's like, hey, who are you taking in front of Snell and in front of Webb when it comes to 1-2 punches in the National League? And the only team that I took above them was Spencer Strider and Max Fried. And you know what? Would I be surprised if Snell and Webb catapulted them? No, I would not be. But those guys are champions. I will give them their respect. Spencer Strider has an elite mustache. God bless Logan Webb and Blake Snell. I don't think they can grow facial hair. It's not in their repertoire. It's not like a changeup or a splitter or a curve. They don't have, the beard in there. That's okay. We all can't be Mike Fiers, right? Sammy and I were talking about that yesterday. Mike Fiers could just shave his beard off at 3 a.m. and by 4 the next hour, it'll be fully grown. Must be nice. Must be nice. You can check out this glorious mustache, though, that I'm rocking on YouTube and Twitch, powered by First Norcal Credit Union. Search 95.7 The Game. Like and subscribe. We're streaming all day long, leading up to Warriors Live at 6 o'clock right here on 95.7 The Game. Warriors Pacers tip-off at 7 at Chase Center. Warriors wrapping up this 3-game homestand before heading on the road to Minnesota on Sunday. But right now, we're talking Giants. And, we can get back into that NBA conversation because I do believe the era is changing. I do believe it is the end of a certain era, which featured not one but 2 players. And I'll discuss that on the other side on the pregame show. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game.
That's Mike saying good morning.
Phil Collins Friday is upon us on day 2 of March Madness. Sing it, Phil. Pregame show, Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. We're talking everything. We're talking tourney. We're talking Giants. We're talking NBA basketball. And before I left you guys last segment, I did a little tease. I kind of touched upon it, but at 888-957-9570, are we watching the end of an era? Is it officially, that's how I want to phrase it, is this officially going to be the end of the Stephen Curry, LeBron James era this season? And maybe to you, it's already been gone since last year when the Nuggets won, the Warriors got ousted, and then the Lakers got swept. Maybe it was that. And maybe you're in the, how can that be? Steph is still at the top of his game. LeBron is still at the top of his game. You know, I said it early in the season, and I hate to be proven right. I hate when I'm right like this. But I said LeBron James can no longer be the best player on a championship team. I mean, he's 39 years old. Hot take. But he was an all-star on the starting team. He's probably going to be first or second team all-pro, I would imagine. Sorry, all-NBA. Like, he's still at the top of his game. He's shooting a ridiculous percentage from 3. He's been amazing this year. And what has that gotten him? 37, 32, 11 and a half back from the top seed, and a half game up on the 10 spot over the Warriors. Stephen Curry, still been pretty good this year. But it hasn't been Stephen Curry standards, right? Now, he's been hurt. Fair enough. He's been hurt. Still averaging almost 27 points, 4 boards, 5 assists. So his level of play, while still better than almost everyone else, for him has ticked down a little bit. But I still believe he can be the best player on a championship team. I do. But things have to change. He has to have a number 2. LeBron does have a number 2 in Anthony Davis, but even he is not enough. What I'm getting at here is it can't just be 1 or 2 guys. You got to have the depth. You got to have the rotation. Like Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic is not just going to do it. You got to have Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. You've got to have Aaron Gordon. You've got to have Michael Porter Jr., right? And then we'll worry about the bench, which was a key part of their run last year, so I'm interested to see how that shakes out. But having a Christian Brown, right, helps. A Bruce Brown last year. Are we looking at the end of the LeBron James and Stephen Curry era? I feel like we are, which sucks to say. I've been watching LeBron James since I've been in 4th grade. I am 30 years old and have 2 kids. Let me say that one more time. I have been watching LeBron since I was collecting Pokemon cards in 4th grade. I'm going to be 31 in June, 2 kids, and I got a mortgage and a wife. It's pretty incredible. All good things have to come to an end. And listen, and I know I'm talking on the Warriors flagship. Spadoni, what are you doing? You don't have faith in this team. They could make a run. Sure. Maybe they could make a run. Maybe they can. Great. You mean to tell me today they are going to go through either the Timberwolves for a round, and then the Thunder for a round, and then the Nuggets for a round, and then, oh, by the way, the Boston Celtics or Milwaukee Bucks. Oh, they've beaten those teams earlier. Great. That's one game. Beat them in a series. I got Draymond Green out here with lower back soreness, and they're just going to, they just have to deal with it. And they can't do anything about it. That's your best defensive player, and he's going to be compromised the rest of the season. And lower back soreness, you know what also that signals? Age. You know who gets lower back sorenesses? Me. I do. Because once you turn 30, that's what happens. You start getting up like an old man and start making all these dad noises. Yeah. Yeah. You just do that. It just happens. Exactly, Mike. That's how I sound when I get up from the chair every single morning.
Man. I feel like Kirk Cousins.
I just wanted to play that one. Kirk! Rocking number 18, by the way. Ugly number. Like, it's just, that's gross. Ugh. Number 18. Is that Peyton Manning? Peyton Manning 18? Yeah, he was. That was like the only one that could pull it off. Only one. And that's rare when you're just giving a quarterback one number. Like, I'm trying to think of other number 18s. Let me look that up right now, real quick. Hashtag squirrel. Number 18 QBs NFL. Yeah, it's just every single one is. Oh, Kyle Orton was 18. Chicago Bears love me some Kyle Orton. Yeah, no one else is coming close. Stanford quarterback Tanner McKee? No. Oh, Case Keenum was. Okay. But I say all that to say, as we come back, reel it back, it sucks to watch, the end of a run or an end of an era in sports. We just witnessed that officially a season ago when Tom Brady was gone. That sucks. For as much as we love to hate Tom Brady, he was either a great hero for some, an inspiration. Hell, I know he was an inspiration because Stephen Curry tells me as much. And now maybe Steph can do what Tom did and fight Father Time. Maybe he can do that, but I'm already starting to see the wear and tear. And being a quarterback compared to a point guard in the NBA is very difficult when it comes to the physical nature of the game. Like Tom Brady is allowed to be slow. Now, he still had to be mobile enough in the pocket and shifty enough, and he was. Like, I'm not here to underrate just his physical skill set and his transformation into his mid-40s, which was incredible. I don't know if we'll ever see that again. Like, Tom Brady can come right now into the league, and if he joined a certain team that had an elite defense and had some weapons on offense, I would fear him still and think that team is one of the favorites to win the Super Bowl. He's going to be like 47 soon. That's how much respect I have for that man, that he can still do it at this level. Basketball's different. And I know we're seeing still greatness. Like, I just think of that double overtime again when it was LeBron James and Stephen Curry. And I almost in the back of my mind thought, and I know they have another game left and they're going to play in the play-in tournament probably. So maybe there's another classic in them. But when I was watching that performance from those two guys this year, I was like, man, is this kind of like the last awesome game we're going to have between these two guys? I know they're in the same conference. I know Shasky thinks potentially LeBron James is going to come to the Warriors. But you start to have those thoughts as seasons go on like this, and the more we watch the Lakers, the more we watch the Warriors, like something's got to change there. And I don't know if they can make big enough changes in this offseason for them to compete with the likes of the Thunder, the Timberwolves, the Nuggets, hell, the Clippers this year. I know I'm very down on the Clippers. For those of you who have been listening to me for however long I've been on air, they're fraudulent. They'll get hurt. It's just, they have James Harden leading the way with Kawhi Leonard, who also, it's just first team IL is what I call them right now. And then you got the Suns. Bradley Beal, has that even been a great acquisition for them? Mavericks are interesting, but does anyone really think they're going to make a deep run in the playoffs? Like, those top three teams, and the Thunder are young. Could they be one and done? Sure. But they'll give any team, whether it's the Suns, the Kings, the Lakers, or Warriors, hell in that first round if they are indeed matched up against them. By the way, the Kings last night was a tough L. Cannot lose to the Washington Wizards. Yikes. That's a major yikes. And they're in the fight of their lives for the 6th seed, which seems to be too far out of the reach for the Lakers and the Warriors. Warriors back in action tonight against the Indiana Pacers. Tip-off 7 o'clock right here on 95.7 The Game, 888-957-9570. The question is simple. Has this season, is this feel like the end of an era when it comes to Stephen Curry and LeBron James? Is it officially passing the torch to the next era? Or did that already happen a long time ago? Did that happen last year? 888-957-9570. It's the pregame show. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game.
Save big during MVP's bonus days at Lowe's.
Brock Purdy? Phil Collins Friday. Pre-game show, Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. One more segment before handing it off to Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky of the Morning Roast. And Sam sent it in the thread. They got a guest on at 8:30. Let me pull it up. Rob Parker, Fox Sports Radio, amongst other things. You can see him on MLB Network occasionally. Rob loves the sport of baseball, but he can talk anything about football, basketball, baseball, you name it. Rob can talk about it. I think his hottest take is probably what, Stephen Curry, right? Not clutch. Is that what it is? He's not a clutch player. I forget what exactly it was, but Rob, nonetheless, always a good time there. Always a fun game, as someone might say.
It's always fun game.
Thank you. I hope Bonte doesn't think I'm making fun of that whole situation. It's just, you have to laugh at stuff like that because it just takes away any, it's just, he handled it so well that I think he's going to look back and be like, you know what? That might have been one of my finer moments.
Shocked you talking to me.
And it's just like so good. Like we have a caller in calling in after a horrible take. Like RJ and Fairfield, if the Kings get ousted and the Warriors advance this year, RJ calls in, Bonte's like,
shocked you talking to me.
There you go.
Are you serious?
Yes, I am. 888-957-9570. Good morning to all you lovely people just getting off work, getting ready for work, getting ready for the weekend. What are you doing this weekend? What's going on? It's supposed to rain today, I saw. Like, come on. And tomorrow? We just had that beautiful weather last week, and now we're just going to go back to the rain. It's going to be like, I saw my forecast. It's going to be all cloudy next week. Come on. You need some more sunshine. I want to golf so bad. I need to. Masters is around the corner. I need to get ready. I need to get juiced for it. And am I going to be playing at Augusta? No, I am not. But mentally, I will be. Whether it's at a Muni, whether it's, at the driving range, that might as well be the 18th at Augusta for your boy. It might as well be. That's as close as I'm going to get. Thank you. Oh. But right now, we're talking March Madness. By the way, Samford, they got hosed last night against Kansas. They would have gotten the ball back, and that was a clear block. For those of you who don't know, it was like less than 20 seconds to go. Down 2, I want to say, is Samford going up against one of the top seeds, Kansas. And Kansas is going for a runaway dunk. Samford player catches up to the guy. Clear block. The guy misses the dunk, skips away. Samford gets the ball. So they would have had the ball with an opportunity to win the game or tie it. It's called for a foul. Horrible call. What are we doing with the review system? Like, Steve Kerr talked about it. He's like, I don't want any instant replay and stuff like that. And I disagreed. I was like, no, this is why you need instant replay. I get it. Different, sports. One's college basketball, one's pro. I mean, same sport, but different rules. But like, that's why you need it. Like for a lot of those guys in Samford, that was it. They're not going to get another opportunity. And for that university, they're not Kansas. They're not going to be there every season. They don't get the recruits. And they just got an opportunity stripped away from them. Just, sick for all those guys out there in Samford. But that's what the tournament's all about, I guess. Heartbreak. Was it Gus Johnson said, Heartbreak City? That's what it felt like. That's what it felt like. Kentucky, yikes. Nevada, yikes. Some bad losses today. This is March, though. 888-957-9570. Hopefully it's not a bad loss tonight for the Warriors. They're looking to make it 2 in a row against the Indiana Pacers. The conversation we've been having, is this the end of the LeBron James and Stephen Curry era? Are we watching it in real time? The end of an era. 888-957-9570. 805 Philly Fridays. Thank you. I like that from the Comcast Business Text line. This is a Phil Collins Philly Fridays. This is the end, Spadone, says the 510. Man.
The downfall is near and it's coming hard.
Thank you, Rob. It does feel like that. I I don't want it to be over. I don't want it to be. But that's the reality. The Lakers and Warriors aren't winning a title this year. Lock it in. I don't care what any of you say. They're not winning a title this year. Joe Shasky seems to think, and he'll be on in about 7 minutes or so, he says the only way that their era stays open is if they join forces. I don't think that's going to happen. Reading the tea leaves from the Lakers and LeBron James, I think if Bronny is staying at USC, I think LeBron's staying down there. I think that is his home now. He has other kids that are going to school. I think he wants to be close to them. I think as much as we like to call Steph Curry a family man, I think LeBron James is very much a family man. You see him at all the games. He's very involved with his family. And talk about, real quick, because I know we like to pit these guys against each other constantly, and that's a media thing. We like to do that. It's contrived. We do this with every player, Brady versus Manning, right? We do this with Crosby versus Ovechkin, if you want to go hockey, all these things. But talking about two faces of a league to represent you and talking about acts to follow and shoes to fill for the future of this game, I cannot think of anything more difficult than LeBron and Steph. You know, Michael Jordan was tough. You saw the end there, but you saw some guys, right? Kevin Garnett, Kobe Bryant. You saw Tim Duncan. You saw it, that the league was going to be in good hands. You had Shaq already established. So there were players there and personalities where it's like, okay. And then you had the Lakers dominating. You had the Spurs dominating. You had those teams. Then you had a Dwayne Wade run mixed in there. You got teams like the Mavericks trying to make runs. Like, the league will be in good hands, but who's going to seize that face of the league, right? It doesn't have to be one guy. Last decade, it's been two. LeBron and Steph. Steph has won over more in those finals. Absolutely. But instead of pitting them against each other here, just the faces of these leagues, man. No scandals between either of them. If anything, it's like National Enquirer stuff, gossip. People choose to believe anything these days, so, there it is. But LeBron, for as much as we like to crush him, Steph, I don't know why anyone would crush him. He seemed like a very nice man. I haven't met the guy, not yet. I think I'm one of the few guys here at the station that hasn't, the host. But having his fourth kid, family man, the guy wants potentially, not ruling out getting into politics after. He wants to change, what's the quote? Be the change you wish to see in the world. He wants to be that guy. He lives that. And from any and all interactions I've seen from him, very down to earth, willing to make time when it comes to the kids, when it comes to growing the female game of basketball as well. I mean, these two guys could not be greater ambassadors for the sport. And it's kind of cool that both of them will be playing together for Team USA in the Olympics. Steiny hates that. Me and Steiny were going at it a little bit off air yesterday in regards to the Olympics and how he believes that it should be amateurism and he's not rooting for America because we got in our feels about losing to amateurs and we had to bring the pros involved to make the dream team. I was like, the Olympics should always be about the best of the best of the best. Always. Which is why I don't understand why we don't send our best players. If we like to think in America that winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. Shout out Vince Lombardi, one of the great Americans and a paisan of our time. We should be sending the best. Always. And we're going to have LeBron. We're going to have Stephen Curry. We're going to have Jason Tatum. We're going to have Joel Embiid. He's American. Don't you forget it. He's claiming us. Let's go. We're going to have Austin Reeves. He's going to be pretty good. We'll see if Draymond makes it. I don't think he's going to. Is he not invited? Is that what it was? I think that leaked earlier. Steve Kerr's like, I'm good. I don't want to deal with that. Steve Kerr, the head coach, obviously, for Team USA this year. 888-957-9570. Let's appreciate these guys. We could be watching officially the end of the Stephen Curry and LeBron James here, and it could culminate and some gold medals. It'd be pretty sweet to see those guys standing together at the podium, taking out Serbia in the championship game. Or, I don't know, Slovenia. It's one of those Eastern European teams. Spain. I am interested, actually, in the Olympics this year for basketball, because just look at all the top Euros in the league. Is Wemby going to be playing in the Olympics for France? I would love to see that. Him, Gobert, Fournier. Again, you got Joker. You got one of the Bogdanoviches. Yeah, there's like two of them. I don't know. One of them is Serbian. The other one is not. I looked this up. Spain. Is my guy Santi Aldama going to be there? Probably. Man. Lot to break down here still on the coming months of basketball. And it starts again. Restarts tonight. Warriors, Pacers, 7 o'clock. Be there or be square. Morning roast, though. That's up next right here on 95.7 The Game. Have a good weekend, everybody.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the